Good morning and Happy New Year 2024. Tony Abatini from Beyond the Ball, coming to you live from Frozen Ropes University, our lovely campus in Chester, New York. Interesting topic today. Everyone's caught up with all of the hope and prosperity and the New Year's resolutions, and we're all going to do these wonderful things this year. I've kind of got a little bit of a different take on it. And the podcast today, Screw the Resolutions, Be Part of the Revolution. I know you're saying, well, what's the difference between a resolution and a revolution? Well, if you look in the Webster Dictionary, revolution is activity or movement designed to affect fundamental change. So instead of looking at all of the resolutions that you and most other people made in the last day or two, reality is most resolutions by, I think the experts say, first week in February are gone. We're back eating shit food, right? We're back being lazy. We're back being on the phones again. Inability to save, inability to have relationships, whatever your resolutions are. So I want to talk about the revolution, right? Your own revolution in possibly making 2024 a better year. And I think the first component of it, and it kind of gets back to our old friend, the WTF rule in life, which I know I talk about with athletes and chapters in the book, but we're adding a second component to it. Wallow in the fog versus work the fix. That has been the traditional WTF rule, and somewhat self-explanatory, right? You have really two choices when life and a situation arises. You can wallow in the fog and make excuses and justify it and play woe with me, play the victim and whatnot, or you can have the ability to just simply work the fix and be more solution oriented. I think you watch players, you watch athletes, successful people, they look at getting their ass kicked, if you will, as kind of a challenge, and it's self-reflection, and it's getting very quickly into solution mode. And I just want to add, as relates to being part of the revolution in working the fix and wallowing in the fog, is work the fortnight. And when I say work the fortnight, I'm not talking about that video game that children love, teenagers love. Rumor has it now you even have adults playing Fortnite until the middle of the night. But the work the fortnight is really my way of suggesting, look at your revolution in intervals of 2 weeks. You know, the making a resolution for the year, I think, is a little bit overwhelming. If you just simply work the fortnight, the WTF, in being part of this revolution, it makes these fundamental changes a little bit easier for you. Well, how do you do that? And I think that, if you really break down resolutions and what I'm calling these revolution goals, so many of it gets back to basic topics. I want to feel better, look better, kind of the fitness component. I want to improve, change, increase my worth in my career. I want to get my finances better, different sources of revenue, or do better on savings, and really relationships. And I know there's other many subtopics within that, but those seem to be the big resolution buckets, right? And so my thought, and again, the world in which I live in, as most of you know, love the acronyms. Acronyms are easy to understand, easy to remember. They're cute, they're funny, right? The Goya rule. And some of you might have heard of Goya before. Goya standing for get off your ass, get off your artificial foods, and get off your artificial friends. The Goya rule. And so as you're looking for this revolution, you need to make a decision. Get off your ass is pretty self-explanatory. It's not about going to the gym every day or having a crazy workout, but just simply moving, right? Movement is the beginning. It is the precursor to a more elaborate fitness schedule, whether it's taking more stairs, whether it's finding the time, even in the cold, to go walk outside, or park your car further away so you're getting a little bit more steps in. So I think Goya, for most of us, whether you're an elite athlete or someone in their middle age, right, movement, you don't need me to tell you the importance and how health is really the platform for mental health and overall fitness goals that are going on. So to me, just moving a bit more. And for those of you that have never worked out in quite some time, yesterday we had open house here on New Year's Day, and it was great seeing some of the adults who hadn't moved in a long time out there just simply stretching. We had the PVC pipes out. We had the water bags out. It was just simply getting their heart rate up to a point where their body is saying, thank you, right? Thank you for allowing blood flow to be a little bit more than it was when I was sitting on the phone actually doing nothing. Get off your artificial foods. Again, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian, but common sense says, right, if we can eat things that have a little bit more color in it, if we can eat the things that your grandmother probably said are good for you, right, that came from the earth and less from packaged processed foods, we're going to feel better, which probably will allow you to get off your ass a little bit more. The third component of Goya is get off your artificial friends. And this really gets back to an illness that we all have. We all suffer from phonomaladritis. And I'll say that again, great SAT word, phonomaladritis. And what exactly is phonomaladritis? Well, the phonomaladritis has become an epidemic, right? It is the inflammation that we all face as it relates to extended use of the phone. And let's review the symptoms, right, with phonomaladritis as it relates to being part of your own revolution, inability to amuse or entertain yourself in the real world. That has become an epidemic problem, and we keep saying it's all about the children. Adults are just as bad also, right? I watch adults that just simply can't sit still or watch a baseball game or watch their son or daughter participate in sports without them scrolling and constantly looking for that dopamine fix that are the algorithms in social media provide us and entice us with. Bored within 15 minutes without a screen or text message alert. Poor posture and minimal eye contact with other human beings. These are the symptoms. You have to tell yourself, is Tony talking about me? I don't mean to pinpoint anyone, but are these some of the symptoms that you have? Constant concern with other people's opinions on social media and in life. A belief system and source of knowledge all premised on YouTube and Google. And as we tell the children, and I have to remind adults sometimes, because it's on Google, because it's on YouTube, because you're seeing it on Instagram, that doesn't mean that it's actual real. It's not scientific. It's one person's opinion, and probably there's an agenda behind it, as it relates to selling something. The fear of sitting quietly in public or outside without immersed in the screen. Think about how many times we could have really taken advantage and could have been present. We could have been mindful. We could have been more aware of our surroundings. Yet there it goes, right? We take out the phone, right? And we're back into this world that is not real. And in some situations has become so destructive as it relates to self-esteem and reality. So phonomaladritis, what can you do in the next 2 weeks, back to the work the fortnight, to at least reduce or eliminate some of those pieces that are going on? And, it really comes down to, and there's so much information and experts that talk about how to make sure that your resolution becomes real. Why is it that most of us can't change? And it really gets back to a choice and habits. And look at it this way, right? You have a habit that's not very good. You're sitting on the couch too long, right? You very quickly will go to Burger King fast food instead of taking the time either to meal prep or do something different. Those are all habits. Not wanting to exercise is a habit. At some point, as part of your revolution, and I'm back to the definition of a personal revolution, activity, right, which gets back to habits or movement designed to affect fundamental change. So the real piece comes into what habits on a day-to-day basis can I tweak, modify that in the next 2 weeks, when the fortnight is over, right, there's fundamental changes. And that gets back to a choice. You have a choice every time that you decide to sit on your ass and not move. You have a choice every time to put artificial food into your body. You have a choice every time, right, to go and get so consumed with other people's opinion because that's how it is. And we hear this all the time. Well, this is the society that we live in. You're right. Technology is great. Social media on so many levels is tremendous. But on other levels, it has become destructive as it relates to self-esteem and self-worth, and really understanding, right, that the only opinion that matters many times is your opinion of yourself. So choices and habits. And this is where those of you that are a little late or need to update your resolution, and as I said before, screw the resolution, be part of your own revolution. What habit can you change today and tomorrow and make a different choice? And if you really break revolutions down into habits and choices, it becomes much easier to win the day, right? Because if you win the day or simply change the day, that one day becomes 2 weeks, and all of a sudden now you're part of the revolution. It might not be the American Revolution, the Civil War, but your own personal revolution is starting to make some progress. And I think that's a different way of looking at it to an extent. And I'm not saying anything that pundits have not said before, but can we stop with this resolution, okay? To me, I like the word revolution because it's kind of badass. It's like, you know what, I'm revolting. I am now saying no to my old self and actually making fundamental changes of my activity and movement that are designed to make fundamental changes in my life. And here's a news flash. You don't get yesterday back. You don't even get, and there's no guarantees of tomorrow. And I know everybody's heard this before. It's all about today, living in the moment. But really, if you really break it down, 1440, people who have heard me talk know that 1,440 minutes in a day. And those that are happier, those that are more productive, those that have better careers, and those that make more money to the extent that's important, utilize and are much more aware of the 1440, which gets back to how bad are your symptoms of phonomalodritis. No one's saying to just simply cold turkey and get off the phone, but you start taking back some of those minutes that are there. That's a choice. You've made the choice to change the habit of being on the phone. So this choice-habit interplay becomes crucial. Sit down and reflect and make a list of these are the habits, and the choices I'm going to be making are going to be different. And all of a sudden, that fortnight, that 2 weeks becomes much easier. Let's make sure that you're part of your own big revolution in 2024. Tony Abatini, Beyond the Ball and Podcast. Those of you that are in the New York area, come visit us at Chester, New York. You can certainly email us at chester@frozenropes.com or just come in and visit, right, my website, tonyabatini.com, if you have any questions or comments. I don't profess to have all the answers of the world, but we're at least looking for them here. And on a final note, be part of your own revolution before it's too late. And again, make sure your phonomalodritis symptoms are going to be a little less in 2024. That's going to be probably the best choice and habit that you're going to make. And last time, I know it sounds like a review session in some of the classes that I teach, go Goya. Get off your ass, get off your artificial foods, and get off of your artificial friends. And at least in the next 2 weeks, be better at it. God bless.